Hi guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links it in the description down below, and we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Of Mice and Men, and that's Unbreakable, so I'm going to refer to the original article as we usually do in these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So before diving into this review, I should probably let you all in on a little bit of a secret. I've never really gotten into Of Mice and Men for a plethora of different reasons, despite them being an incredibly likable band and being appreciated among many other critics. I've always appreciated them, I've just never really gotten into their music, and I think it is a great shame what has happened to Austin recently, and I wish him all the best, as no one should have to go through what he is currently going through when it comes to health problems, and we all don't know the background really to creative differences. Creative differences can inspire lots of different things and people to do things which are unexpected, so I don't want this review to become, about comparing the two vocalists here, but nonetheless I am excited to get back into this project and see what they do next, because it's always interesting to see how a group can respond to losing a singer, because it is probably the most crucial part of a group. So shall we see what I think of this brand new track? Well, as far as I'm concerned, I actually think this is a huge step in the right direction for this group. We've heard bands get butchered in the past by terrible vocal replacements. Just look at someone like Suicide Silence, if you want a recent example of that, filling in for people who are beloved among the fans, just like someone like Austin really is. But Aaron puts in an absolute shift on this track. For a bassist to put in a cracking bass performance, a fantastic clean vocal performance, and a brilliant scream vocal performance is almost unheard of in one single. But it has been achieved right here, in my opinion, although I think the track did drift towards the end of the track and repeated itself without really throwing in any new flavors or anything like that during the bridge or towards the end of this track. I must admit that it was a very ballsy outing for this group, and I think it actually really paid off. When it comes to the production of this track, I think the mix overall is okay but not amazing, and I think that's pretty typical of the genre at this point. The guitars have thick, muddy, distorted tones, and although they actually drive the mix fairly well, I think the diction on particular notes and lack of the natural twang which you'd have on a guitar did mean that the riffs didn't cut through quite as nicely as I would have wanted them to, because when we get further into this review I'll reveal that I actually really liked the riffs in this track, but I think they could have been improved with some slightly better production so they didn't seep into one another each note. The vocals sound great though, in my opinion, being at the exact right amplitude in this mix, grabbing onto that foreground for itself, and it was only intensified by Aaron's talents further in this track. The bass is okay, and again it is missing that natural twang and that natural tonality, but it did the job fairly well actually to fill the low ground, so I can't complain too much. The percussion is deep and impactful, perhaps sounding a little too programmed at times, but the fills were actually pretty thunderous, so I can't really complain about that either. When it comes to the musicality of this track, there are a lot of great elements within the song. We get exciting riffs, which I've already mentioned, which, if given further clarity in the future, could be real scene stealers for the metal scene in the upcoming few months before the release of this album. Then we get great vocal melodies, as I've already mentioned as well, with a great well-rounded vocal performance to boot, which gives the track that extra substance that it really needs. I think the drum beats are a little repetitive though, and the kick routine in particular did get a little predictable in parts, because the verses, the choruses, and even the bridge had the same kick routine, so I didn't really enjoy that so much. But the transitions were well bolstered by the drumming performance, and I think the fills were great, so it's a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to the drums performance. I didn't enjoy the verses and choruses so much, but in between the sections there were some great instances of some great drumming work. I think what the track lacks though is probably diversity. We get a solid collection of solid riffs that remain around a very small collection of notes, which hence made a lot of parts sound kind of similar, maybe a little too similar in my opinion. I think a clean bridge or even a slightly atypical breakdown would have done just enough for me, as the song just plateaued after sort of the second chorus. Lyrically, the track does have a couple of cliche tropes and some cheesy one-liners, but they are your usual functional metal lyrics. I mean, they're not amazing, they're not particularly memorable, but they are sort of the typical industry standard at the moment. I've heard much worse and I've heard much better. So all in all, it's a solid, brave outing with some great ideas and a brilliant vocal performance. And I think fans will appreciate this one a lot. And I think casual listeners will be brought back into the group, maybe if they didn't like Austin's voice in the past. So I gave it a G rating of 6.5 out of 10. If you like this video, then please leave a like, comment what you think in the comment section down below, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.